Good morning to you all, and welcome back to another ERPNext video at Famous. My name is Wolfram Schmidt. I'm the CEO of the company, and I will be continuing on this video recorded before, creating and understanding doc types in frappe framework. Last time at the end of the video, we stopped just before this section here, the workflows, notification webhooks, and so on. And we'll carry on in this video, starting with workflows. Please subscribe to the channel and give us a like to this video, much appreciated. And I hope you enjoy this video. So, this instance that we're using, we're still in the version 15 of frappe framework. And we will go straight back to our demo doc type. Never mind, we'll create a new one. We'll create a new doc type for the workflow demo. Put this into the module custom. Create this. We will give this a title field. And we will give this a status field, select status field, and give this the status open pending done. Save this, we'll give it a naming rule, set by user prompt. That'll do fine for now. And this is what we want to be working on, the workflow. And we'll just go ahead and create this to have a look what this can do. There is, since version 15, a workflow builder. I haven't used this yet, so I can't really make a demonstration of this. I'm just going to close this up here and use the classic way that is known to me. We will give this a name, workflow demo also. This is onto that doc type workflow demo. And basically, in a very short way, how it works is there are different states that we can apply, and then there are different transition rules on how we transition from one state to the next. So in standard version, there are some standard states, but these are the ones we will be using as well. So the first state is pending, and a further state is approved, and another state is rejected. Doc status 0, 1, or 2. So 0 is if it's in draft, 1 is if it's submitted, 2 if it's cancelled. This obviously only applies if we configure the actual doc type, workflow demo, and then after settings. So if I activated this is submittable, then these would apply. Update field, what we can do is we can change a value of a field once we go into this state. This I'm going to leave empty for now. And then I could obviously set the value that should be set. And in this last field, I can say who's allowed to do this. For now, I'm logged in as an administrator. I will just activate this for the administrator. Good. Next part is how do we switch from one state in the other? So we start with the pending state and say there's an action. This action, by the way, will turn up as a button on the top right of the doc type. We'll see that later. And we'll say from pending, we can approve and go into the state of approved. This is also allowed by the administrator. We want to run all the different flows that can happen here. So we went now into approved. After approved, Maybe I can still reject and go into a rejected state, and then I can go from rejected to maybe review, and then go to pending, and then this will obviously be back up here, and then we can go through it again. At the end here you can see, well, a workflow state field. This is a name we can give for a field that will be created into our doc type as a sort of custom field, holding these state values. If we can also use an existing field for this. For now we'll leave it as standard though, and see what it does. So save this, create a custom field doc type. This is just what I was describing, and also we will activate this. Now this is active. If we go to our new doc type workflow demo, if I create this, it's asking me for a name, so workflow number 1. Don't really need the title. Save this. Okay, so just ignore this field for now. It has no use at the moment. We have this status field, open, pending, done. Also this we haven't, we're not interacting yet with, but you can see if I reload the page here that we have this pending state here. Now we can see here that there's this action button. I'm just going to quickly show you again. If I go to this workflow, I deactivate it, I save it, go back to my demo workflow, reload this page, you'll see that the regular save button is there. And here also we see that this status is used. Yeah. So, and this is something that is overwritten as soon as I activate this and reload this. Then we see that up here in these states, we use the status from our workflow rather than this, and also we now have this actions button. If I hit the approve button, I can approve this. This will change to approved. I can go to reject. It will go to reject, and yeah, just follow these from approved to reject. So from rejected, it will can go back to pending. Review, go back to pending. Now, I can also have two things happening here. And this would be that I say that maybe from a pending state, I can do another review and then go into pending again. I'm just going to leave this as it is. It won't make too much sense to do this, but just to keep complexity down and not having to create too many new states. Then I can refresh this page, and then we see here we have two options which can take us on two different paths. So there are further ways of manipulating this doc type. As we saw, we could be changing the status with this. We could also update a field. So if I, for example, do the approved field and then set this to done, I think that was an existing value that we have, done. I'll just do this as an example. So when I go through this, I expect that once we have approved, then this just should change to done. So I set this approved and it changes to done. This is one way of manipulating data. There are further ways as well. If I edit this, we can also do, what is it? No, this was not in here. Further down, we can set all sorts of conditions. Yeah, so we can apply code here as well to make this all a little bit more complex and more complex scenarios. Up here, the options. So what I can do is I can add a message if I want to send this via email. This email thing here, we can see send email alerts. Then I can also add an email template if I would like to. We have the option of setting optional states. This option, don't override status, is basically we have this for the whole document as well. This has an effect on the list view. Let me show you. So we see the status here is approved, but when I open it, the actual status field is done. And if I switch this off, don't override status, and refresh this page, then we see that the status is back on this done. And the other field, I'm not sure if I can take this in here, workflow state. So we can see those are actually two different fields. If I take this back out and refresh this once more, then we see that it's the same again. Else on this page, there is not too much. The rest is really to try these things. It's best, similar as they show here in the workflow builder, to actually draw up your own workflow as a chart and then follow through with that. It makes it a lot easier to build these things successfully and not be frustrated at some point. So in combination with this, especially in our experience, in combination with email alerts, this can be suboptimal. So what we can do, and this is probably the next step as well in our demo, is we can add notifications to assist us. So a notification, let me create a new notification, workflow notification. Subject, this is a notification from, and we'll just take this example, which is here. We could take any variable from the doc type we use. There are different channels that we can use: email, Slack, system notification, SMS. For now, I'll be using the system notification. This is basically the bell, these notifications, as I don't have email configured on this system at the moment. So send alert on, we have different triggers when this should actually happen. I'm just going to say that this should happen on save to quickly see a result. Then I have a condition that I want to set. Doc, let's take the status, have a look into our, so I can now use one of these statuses in my conditions to when to trigger this. So let's say we will trigger this once it's done. So we set this to done. Now we can also change a value with this. So we saw this in the workflow, that we are able to update a field with a value. And also we can do this here. Set property after, just for the fun of it, title. This now has a title. Add a recipient, edit, and here we have different options. So we have received by document field owner. Now we just have this owner field. If we want other fields to turn up in this selection, what we need to do is we go to our doc type, our workflow demo doc type, we add another field. This would be, for example, a data field in which we have our user. And the important part is that we set the email option on this field. We save this, and once we go back to our notification, I will have to quickly save this and reload the page to make that change available. And why is it not there? For now, we could also use roles. Important is all users that carry this role will be informed about this notification. So maybe that's not what we always want. Further, we can then set an extra condition, maybe canceling out all the other members of that role. But this is something we're, in our experience, please be careful with. So then we can add a message here. We'll just leave it as it is. And also we could attach a print. This is interesting. When we send via email, then we can use a print format. An important part here is when you use the print format, you must remember that when you set a new print format somewhere, that you also have to update this field. At this point, it is not updated automatically, just because you changed the default print format somewhere. So that's an important thing to remember. So this is enabled. This is a notification. Our expectation is on save. If the doc status is on done, we should get a notification here. Let's see if that works. We go to the doc tab demo, so it's already in here. Basically, if I put a value in here, you will want an email address, then we did not get a notification. We saw that you filled in this title. This now has a title, so that apparently worked. Why we did not get a message, I'm not sure. Maybe it does not give ourselves a message. We can quickly, how can we best test that? I will create I'll check on a user list. And roles and permissions. Allow modules. Don't really need that. Security settings, change password. We will quickly set a password. And see if we can log into this. So what I did is quickly logged in as a different user, and then we can see if I can assign this here. Let's see if we have this workflow demo. We do have this. I'm not allowed to edit this, so we quickly have to set a permission for this workflow demo. Permission manager, and then let's quickly. He has system manager. Should be able to create. Interesting. We'll just create a new one. Workflow 2. Leave this on open. Save this. So the reason why this is, I'll quickly switch this to English. This is definitely an interesting thing to see. So you could see I could create the workflow. That was not the problem. But once it's created, I can't do anything. Now, this has to do that the permissions, they depend on the workflow that we applied. So as we saw, we had this, that it's only allowed for the administrator. I'll change this to all, that every user of the system is allowed to do this. So basically, this can also be used to control certain things. For example, if you want to create a new item in your system, you can add workflows to say that someone might be able to create an item and add some data, but to actually get the item into a usable state that all users in the system may be allowed to use it, that is limited to, let's say, an item manager who will actually have to sign off on that the item is created correctly and then made eligible for the use in sales, for example. So now I've changed all this, we should be able to see, and if we update here, yeah, we can now apply these actions. Now, because we have the doc type owner, this is the owner, yeah, WS, he created this doc type, so now I have to go as the administrator. I'll go into this and change this to approved. It will set the message, and now WS should have a notification. Let's see if this is the case. This is a notification from workflow 2. So also the notification does actually work. Quickly doing this again. So I will create a new workflow number 3. This is in open. Now I've created this as the WS user, and we see that this is in status open. So this is WS is the doc owner. We have set this in the notification that we want to inform the doc type owner, and this we can then do by changing the status of the workflow number 3 through the administrator, and then our expectation will be that the WS user receives the notification. By the way, here you can see currently viewing the WS user. This is because this user is also open on this page, vice versa. You can see the administrator also being active on this page. So back to the administrator, we approve this, it sets the message, changes the status to done, and we see now here that there is from just now a notification from the workflow number 3. So this also works as expected, and this in combination is a very powerful tool to automate your processes. Further, let me go back to the doc type. If we go to this connection, further things can be applied with this. So in the other video, we looked at assignment rules, and there are future things that we'll look at. Webhooks, for example, they can all be triggered through these workflows happening. A workflow is applied, a field value is changed, maybe a notification is sent or an assignment is created, and so on. This is something that needs to be tested a lot and requires quite some experience and some use cases. to be very efficient about it, but it is used in combination. And then later what we'll also look at with client and server scripts can be aided by that. This would be all for today's video. We have looked at the workflows in combination with notifications. As said, they can be also used with assignment rules, later with other scripts. And thank you very much for listening. I'd be happy if you subscribe and like this video, subscribe to our channel, and support us and the ERPNext community. Thank you very much.